Hi, my name is Sean. I'm from Warren, Ohio. Um, I've been out here in Omaha since 2008. Uh, I've been homeless on the street now since 2010, off and on. Uh, uh, my husband and I split up, and he went to federal prison, and we lost everything. And I didn't have, I didn't have the means to sustain our home and everything, because we had just bought in a home for $135,000, and our house payment was $765 a month. And I didn't make enough money by myself in order to pay the house payment and the utilities and everything. So they repossessed the house, took everything away from us. Um, I I don't know. I guess I kind of just gave up after that. I lost everything I owned. I lost him. I lost pretty much my life. So I just ended up down here at the shelter in Omaha, and it's been an ongoing battle ever since. I've done drugs, yes. I've done drugs in the past. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not like out there every day getting high or anything, but I do smoke weed once in a while, and I drink occasionally, but I don't have an addiction or anything like that. That's not the reason why I'm homeless now. I was born 1970 to John Sperry and Edith Roberts Sperry, Warren, Ohio. We were middle class back then. There was a middle class back then. My father was a truck driver. My mother worked at a diner. We had a 2-story home, 2-car garage, a pickup truck, a car. We had Christmases and everything. Everything was, I never wanted for anything when I was a kid. I don't remember ever living like without utilities or anything like that, or food or anything. There was always food. We always had stuff. My father died in 1975 from leukemia. I watched him die. He died right in front of me. Of course, I didn't know that that's what that meant at the time. I was only 5 years old, but my mother told me shortly thereafter that I was the man of the house now. Growing up, after my dad died, we moved out of the house. My mother let the house go that my father owned. We owned it. I think we owed like 2 payments or something, was how the story went. But my mother couldn't live there anymore, she said, because of the memories. She couldn't stand the memories, so she let the house go. We ended up moving in with friends of his, of my father's. That was myself and my 2 sisters, who were teenagers at the time. We moved around quite a bit after my dad died, from apartment to apartment, town to town. We had a trailer for a while. Anyway, I left home. I started doing drag when I was 13 years old, and prostituting myself. I left home when I was 15, and I never went back to live or anything. I mean, I went home to visit my mother and everything periodically, but I moved out of my mother's home when I was 15 years old, and I never went home. I sustained myself, and I took care of myself through prostitution. That went on for many, many years, from like 1985 till 2001, 2002. I had my own place. I didn't have to live in the street or anything. I had my own place. My mother My mother got sick. My mother was always sick. She had everything from high blood pressure to heart disease to diabetes. But towards the end, 2003, she died. But at the end, she had Parkinson's disease. She had, along with the high blood pressure, diabetes, and the heart disease, she had Parkinson's. She had Alzheimer's. She regressed so far that she forgot how to eat, and the nursing home continued to feed her solid food, and it was going straight into her lungs, and she died from aspirated pneumonia. And she also died right in front of me. I was home for that as well. My sister called me out. I lived in Iowa at the time, and my sister found me and called me and told me that my mother was in the nursing home and that she was calling for me all the time, which is a classic symptom of Alzheimer's. Is they start living in the past, you know what I'm saying, and they'll start asking for people. She was asking for my father. My father had been dead for 30 years at that time, and she was asking for my father and telling my sister to tell my dad to come and get her the hell out of there. And then she was yelling at her and telling her to tell me to come and get them and get them out of there. And so I went home and took care of my mother until she died. That was 2003, December of 2003. After my father died and we moved in with his friend, he had a 17-year-old son and a 5-year-old son who was my best friend. The 5-year-old was my best friend. The 17-year-old was molesting him, his brother, and me in the basement on a regular basis, and that went on for several months. But I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't know anything about it. A lot of people will say that my being homosexual has something to do with me being molested, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. I was attracted to boys before that happened, and I've always been attracted to men.